Hi guys, good evening. This is Axi.com online teaching. I am Ilangovan teaching for zoology. So we have started the evolutionary process. The different theories, the concepts proposed by different evolutionists. And in the last one we talked about the mutation theory proposed by Hugo de Vries. And also explained the various characteristics of the mutation theory. Know that one is a sudden one, a heritable one. Any change occurring all of a sudden, it is continuously at random. So I mentioned also the mutations are full-fledged ones. That means during the formation of new species, there are no intermediate products, there are no intermediate stages. And that is why we can say mutation is a full-fledged one. All of a sudden, a particular species gets converted into another species because of mutation, because of selection, or because of saltation. So these are all some of the characteristics. Now the concept of mutation as proposed by Hugo de Vries was experimentally proved by T.H. Morgan in the fruit fly Drosophila melanogaster. He confirmed the mutation theory as proposed by Hugo de Vries. That's why you know that one is called father of modern genetics. Somehow he just fulfilled the various concepts, explained, verified the concepts of Mendel, verify the concepts of just de Vries, etc. Now, so Darwin proposed the concept of evolution and also Hugo de Vries. But these two people are differing in their concept. Now, what are the differences made? The concept, just normally concepts made by the two different evolutionists, Charles Darwin and Hugo de Vries. Let's compare and contrast. So here is a table, just I am making the differences of concepts, the theories made by the two different well-known evolutionists. One, Charles Darwin, known for his evolutionary concept, the natural selection concept, and Hugo de Vries, the mutation theory concept. Now, according to Darwin, as per the first difference, so evolution is a process or a formation of a new species. This is because of gradual fluctuating variations over a period of time. So it took more time. Not 1 or 2 years, even sometimes millions of years also needed for the formation of a new species. This is because of the cumulative effect of the gradual changes taking place in the body of an organism. So anyway, evolution resulted by the accumulation of gradual fluctuating variations. The variations are not constant. They are just fluctuating ups and downs over a long period of time. Over a long series of generations, that means over a long period of time, even millions of years. Now, as per the just actually de Vries concept, new species arise all of a sudden. It's called by means of sudden jump, saltation from one step to another, or because of single step large mutation. Normally we call this one as macrogenesis. Because of a single step large mutation, one species gets converted into another species. We call this one the phenomenon macrogenesis. So macrogenesis, saltation, the two concepts of Hugo de Vries. And number two, as per the Darwinian concept, the variations are very small and the direction is always taking place in one direction, in a specific direction. But as per the just actually de Vries concept, the variations are always occurring large, random. There is not any direction. It's not direction. Random means you know that what is occurring in any direction. So it is directionless. Then the third one, evolution was taking place gradually. But you know that one mutation caused speciation or evolution just in a single step. And hence when we call it actually a sudden jump or saltation. It is not gradual. It is all of a sudden happening, resulting in the formation of a new species. Then I mentioned already in the case of de Vries concept, the mutations are full-fledged. That means there are no intermediate stages according to the concept of mutation theory. But as per the Darwinian concept, during the formation of one species, it has to pass through a number of stages from its ancestors. The ancestor has gone through a number of stages and finally only we received the final product. This is because of the formation of many intermediate stages. We can see just because of that only, it is not considered as a full-fledged one. But as per the de Vries concept, it is a full-fledged one. as there are no intermediate stages during the formation of a new species, all of a sudden one species gets converted to another species. Then the last one, so normally because of minor variations, the cumulative effect of minor variations resulted in the formation of new species. But you know that one, as per the mutation, it causes mutation. Actually, the mutation causes evolution, and it is not minor variation. So the minor variations are not taking part in the formation of new species. All of a sudden, a single step large variation resulted in the formation of new species. It is not because of minor variations. It is only because of mutation. In a single step, a new species has developed. So these are all the comparative, just actually the concepts of the two people who proposed, the well-known people, for showing the different evolutionary concepts. Now, while we are talking about mutation, in support of mutation, there was one experiment conducted by two people, Joshua Leidenbach and Esther Leidenbach, in 1952. The name of the experiment is replica plate experiment to show certain mutations are pre-adaptive and also advantages to the process. So this concept, namely just the replica plate experiment, is in support of mutation theory. They are just proving that there are certain mutations which are advantages to the organism. But as per this concept, replica plate experiment as proposed by actually Leidenbach and Esther Leidenbach, Joshua and Esther Leidenbach, the two people in 1952, they showed that there are certain mutations which are actually pre-adaptive. Before entering into a new environment, the mutations already happen. When the organism entered the new environment, on exposure to the new environment, the mutation effect is expressed, and that expression is also advantageous to the organism. That is why we can see certain mutations are pre-adaptive, already developed, and are advantageous to the organism when exposed to the new environment. So normally the new environment doesn't produce or induce such mutations. Mutation already happened. The organism was in some other environment. The organism was exposed to a new environment. Now those organisms having that adaptation, or we can say in terms of mutations which are adaptive, and that one just gave the organism to survive and eliminate those other organisms which have not developed such pre-adaptive mutations. Now, what are the concepts, the basic principles of this one? So they were able to show that there are mutations which are considered as pre-adaptive, and such mutations are regarded as advantageous mutations because they provide adaptation, they provide advantage to the organism. The organism is exposed to the new environment. Then, so I mentioned already, these mutations appear without exposure to the new environment. The environment which would be actually just advantageous to the organisms. Normally, there are certain mutations which appeared earlier before the organism entered the new environment. In that environment, that adaptation would be advantageous. So, without exposure to the new environment, the adaptation already happened. Now, when the organism is exposed to the new environment, what would happen? Now, they express only. These mutations are expressed only when the organisms are exposed to the new environment. Otherwise, they would not be exposed. They would not be expressed, I can say. So, they express only after exposure to the new environment. Okay. So, such mutations normally not induced by the new environment. Okay. So, normally the new environment never just induces such mutations, but the new environment selects such mutations which are advantageous to the organism. So, the mutation already occurred in the organism before exposure to the new environment, normally not induced by the environment, but the environment only selects the pre-adaptive mutations just that occurred just earlier in the organism. So, this is not induced by the new environment, but the new environment selects actually such mutations which are advantages to the organism which happened earlier before exposure to the new environment. Now here is an experiment. So they use the technique what we call this one replica plate. So what is replica plate? Now they have actually selected a medium, agar medium, and these two people made agar medium in a plate. That plate is called what is known as the original plate. The agar medium is actually without any antibiotic. So in the experiment they used actually the antibiotic to know whether such mutations are pre-adaptive, whether these mutations are advantageous. So they are using antibiotic either, they use normally antibiotic, for example either streptomycin or penicillin, to prove that one, certain adaptations or certain mutations are pre-adaptive and are all advantages. Now in the first step, they made an agar-agar medium, a solid medium in a plate, and then closing that plate. Then they inoculate that actually medium, the agar-agar medium, you know that what is a solid medium, with the bacteria. Now this agar medium is without the antibiotic streptomycin. So they inoculate the bacterium, that means they introduce the bacterium into this medium and incubated the bacterium in that medium so that they produced colonies. Now they have taken a wooden block and a velvet cloth was stretched over that wooden block. So this is a wooden block over which a velvet cloth was actually stretched. Now they invert the lid having what is called the agar medium with bacterial colonies without streptomycin antibiotic and press that lid over this what is called the cloth, velvet cloth. As a result, what will happen? So some of the bacterial cells could stick to the surface of the velvet cloth. Now they remove the plate. Now they are taking another plate. Already just they made the plate with the agar-agar medium, the solid medium. But it contains what is called the streptomycin antibiotic. So the previous plate, the original plate, that is called the original plate, having that is actually the agar-agar medium without the streptomycin antibiotic. Now they have another medium, that medium agar medium, but contained in it that is streptomycin antibiotic. Now they inverted that actually the plate. Now this plate with streptomycin, or we can take for example penicillin, is called replica plate. Replica plate, that is the original plate without streptomycin, and this is the plate having streptomycin in it, is called as replica plate. Now they inverted the replica plate and pressed over the block on the surface of which we had already the velvet cloth having some colonies of bacteria. So when this lid was pressed against the velvet cloth, then what will happen? Some of the bacteria would stick to this medium with streptomycin. So they allowed the bacteria to form colonies for some time. So after some time they observed only certain colonies were surviving in that medium and others just would die. What was the reason for that one? They made it clear. Those bacteria which had mutations before exposure to the medium, namely the medium with the streptomycin, they would survive. And others without the mutations, to resist against the streptomycin, they would die. So, from this it is evident that the bacteria developed mutations, and such mutations were exposed only. The bacteria were exposed to the what is called the medium with the streptomycin, that is a new environment. So from that one, we can conclude that the bacteria were actually developed mutations, and these mutations were pre-adaptive, that means they could resist against the streptomycin, so that they were surviving, and others were eliminated. So they also collected. So this is one experiment to show that certain adaptations are already developed and they are pre-adaptive once exposure to the new environment, and it is being exposed or expressed so that those having the pre-adaptive mutations could survive and others are eliminated. Now, they also just collected the bacteria from the colony from the original grade without streptomycin and introduced into a solution medium, one with streptomycin, another one without streptomycin. So this is solid medium. Now the solution medium, we can say what is called the broth, liquid broth medium. So there are two media for culturing any type of bacteria. One is called as a solid medium, which is nothing but agar-agar medium. Another one, a liquid medium. A liquid medium. Just actually, it is called liquid broth. It is in liquid form. So they introduce the bacteria into one, a liquid broth without streptomycin. Another one with streptomycin. So in the liquid medium without streptomycin, actually the bacterial growth was observed. And in another liquid medium where we had streptomycin, so automatically what would happen? All the bacteria die. Because in the liquid medium the antibiotic dispersed. But in the case of agar-agar medium, those streptomycin present here and there, they may escape from that actually streptomycin. So simply this is an experiment to show that actually the liquid broth, why we are taking that one. So normally the streptomycin is having a killing effect against bacteria. So if it is free from streptomycin, bacterial colonial growth is there. If the streptomycin is present, then no growth of the bacteria cells. So this is an experiment to show that normally certain bacteria develop actually mutations before exposure to the environment. Here the environment is nothing but streptomycin contained what is called the agar-agar medium. The normal environment, that is nothing but agar-agar medium without streptomycin. So from medium without streptomycin, we just transfer the bacterial cells to the medium with what is called streptomycin. So when the organism was already in the first one, the original grade, it already developed mutations. Mutation already occurred in that organism. When transferred to the medium, the replica plate, where we have normally, that is streptomycin. So organisms, the bacteria with the resistant against streptomycin would survive and other colonies eliminated. This is because of the pre-adaptive mutations and that are advantages to the processor. So this proved that mutations had occurred before the bacteria were exposed to streptomycin. Now these are all the different actually concepts related to the mutation theory and also the Joshua Lindenberg and the Esther Lindenberg experiment also in support of mutation model. Now, so the fourth concept we have already seen, Lamarckian concept, Darwinian concept and mutation theory. The fourth one, modern synthetic theory of evolution. Also sometimes it is called neo-Darwinian concept. Of all the theories of evolution, the most accepted theory of evolution is modern synthetic theory. And normally, the basic concept of this modern synthetic theory of evolution was first developed by T.H. Dobzhansky. He wrote a book in 1937, See Genetics and the Origin of New Species. That was the name of the book. 1937, he made a book and that was the fundamental, basic for that is the modern synthetic theory. And later in 1971, another person also made contributions towards the development of modern synthetic theory. That person was J.L. Stebbins. He also wrote another book, Process of Organic Evolution. So the basic concepts of modern synthetic theory were represented in these two books proposed by these two people, namely Dobzhansky as well as J.L. Stebbins. Now what is the basic principle of modern synthetic theory? Now it is based on not population. Modern synthetic theory is based on population genetics. It is not based on population, but it is based on population genetics. I think you know the meaning of population. It is nothing but an assemblage of individuals, a group of similar individuals, or a mixture of different species, but in most cases they are interbreeding, a group of interbreeding organisms living in a particular place at a particular time. So in a population, suppose you want to count the number of individuals, if you want to take the statistics of a population, you have to count the number of hits. But in the case of population genetics, we are not counting the number of individuals, but we are giving importance to the frequency of alleles. How many alleles of A, or how many alleles of B, or how many alleles of C. We are not counting the number of males, we are not counting the number of females, we are not counting the number of infants, just male and female babies in a particular population here. So, population genetics is mainly based on calculating the allelic frequencies or the gene frequencies. So, the study of gene frequencies or allele frequencies in a population is called population genetics. We are not counting the number of individuals. We are counting only the number of genes in a particular population. The study of frequencies. How many A genes are present? Let us take. How many B genes are present? Let us take. Even among the A genes, how many of them are dominant genes? How many of them are recessive genes? And that study is called population genetics. Now, the population genetics was actually made, studied extensively by two people. One, G.H. Hardy of UK, and then just Weinberg of Germany. And they have made one concept, what is called Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium or Hardy-Weinberg principle. And that is the one which gives everything the allelic frequencies or gene frequencies in the form of mathematical or algebraic actually equations. So, the population genetics normally was developed well by means of two people, Hardy and Weinberg, and that principle is called Hardy-Weinberg principle. And that is the basis and that is a fundamental one for explaining the population genetics. What actually that principle says? Normally, this principle stated the frequency of alleles or the genes in algebraic equations. So, everything we explain only in forms of algebraic explanations or explanations are in the form of equations. That is the basic principle of Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. Now, what is the meaning for that one? So, we have actually the alleles in a population, and this Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium is possible only for large populations, not for small population, not for island population. So, it is concerned with the larger populations. That is, it is concerned with sexually reproducing population. We cannot just actually make this principle for asexually reproducing organisms. So, Hardy-Weinberg principle is made only for sexually reproducing population and also for large population and also for randomly mating populations. So, what do you mean by randomly mating populations? Natural mating process. So, if it is not random, it is called assorted mating or preferential mating. So, anything what we are making, for example, in cages, a cross between a lion and tiger, it is called non-random mating. If any mating occurs in a natural population, then it is called a random mating. If any mating occurs that is under captivity, then it is called non-random mating, also called preferential mating. It is also called preferential mating, also called actually assorted mating, non-random, preferential or assorted. Anything which is normally under the man's control. So, this Hardy-Weinberg actually based on the principle, just explaining everything in the form of algebraic equations. Now, what is the definition for that? The principle normally says that allelic frequencies of a large, just randomly made, sexually reproducing population. The allelic frequencies of a large, randomly mating, sexually reproducing population, normally stable and remains constant from one generation to another. So, whatever generation we are taking, in a number of generations, what will happen? There is no change in allelic frequencies. So, the allelic frequencies in a large, randomly mating, sexually reproducing population is normally stable. Allelic frequency, or the allelic frequencies are stable if you are taking many genes, and it also remains constant from generation to generations. Then, so it is possible we have this constant equilibrium only when there is no mutation, when there is no natural selection, when there is no genetic drift, when there is no genetic recombination. The normal process taking place during, you know, that one crossing over of meiosis, normal process, naturally occurring process, the genetic recombination. So, if there is no genetic drift, if there is no gene flow or migration of genes, if there is no what is called genetic recombinations, if there is no natural selection, if there is no mutation, at times only the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium is possible. So So that's why we can say these are all the factors which affect Hardy-Weinberg principle. Gene flow, then we have the mutation, genetic drift, genetic recombinations, the natural selection. These are some of the factors. That is why the definition itself I have given in this manner. So, the allelic frequencies of a large, randomly mating, sexually reproducing population remains constant. It also maintains generation of generations. In the absence of mutation, in the absence of selection, what we can say the natural selection, then that is genetic recombination, etc. The gene flow. Now, what are the basic principles adapted in Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium? Number one, equilibrium of allelic frequency. What is the meaning of equilibrium of allelic frequency? We'll come to the point what is gene frequency or allelic frequency later the definition. That means the gene pool remains constant. What do you mean by a gene pool? A sum total of all the genes in the population. Simply we can say the sum total of all the genes in the population. Suppose for example we have a gene A. If it exists in two forms, dominant gene A and recessive gene A, then capital A plus small a is equal to 100%. This is what is called equilibrium. So, the ratio of dominant and recessive allelic frequencies remain constant. This is what we can say equilibrium of allelic frequency. So, in some cases we have dominant gene A is equal to 60% and small a is equal to 40%. Suppose if you have more than two alleles, for example capital A, small a, and also for example A1, A2, A3 like that. Also we have include the sum total of capital A, small a1, A2, A3, all these things together is equal to 1. In the case of multiple alleles. So anyway, so equilibrium of allelic frequency, if you take a particular gene, if it exists in two forms, dominant and recessive forms, the ratio between actually the dominant allelic frequencies and what is called the recessive allelic frequencies remain constant. 60-40 or 30-70 like that, but equal to only 100%. A plus A is equal to 100%. Or A plus A1 plus A2, A3 is equal to 100%, or we can say in discrete unit 1. Then, this state is called what is known as genetic equilibrium. If A plus A is equal to 100% or equal to 1, this condition is called actually genetic equilibrium. That is nothing but the sum total of all allele frequencies. What I mentioned, A plus A1 plus A2 plus A3 is equal to 1. The sum total of all the gene frequencies is equal to 1. This is what is called genetic equilibrium. So this genetic equilibrium is maintained only if there is no mutation, there is no selection, there is no genetic drift, there is no genetic recombination, etc. Okay. Now what is the second basic principle of this actually Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium? That is genotype frequencies. So we have gene frequencies, otherwise called allele frequencies. Also we have the genotype frequencies. From the genotype frequencies only we can calculate the allelic frequencies like the dominant gene frequency or recessive gene frequency. So only when we know the genotype frequencies, then only we can calculate the dominant and recessive allele frequencies. Because in a population we have three different types of individuals based on genotypes. 1. Dominant homozygous. 2. Dominant heterozygous. 3. Homozygous recessive. So from these three groups of individuals only, we can calculate either the dominant gene frequency or recessive gene frequency. So without the help of genotype frequencies, we cannot calculate the allelic frequencies. So the two basic principles of Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium are 1. Equilibrium of allelic frequency. Number 2. Genotype frequencies, which would be calculated from actually it would be responsible for calculating the dominant and recessive gene frequencies. So what is gene pool? I mentioned already. So it is a sum total of the different alleles in a sexually reproducing population in a given period or in a given generation. We can take either way. The sum total of all different alleles. What I mentioned, for example, if you are taking A, if only there are two alleles, this is one, this is also gene pool. Sum total of A is equal to 100%. Sum total of B is equal to 100%. If the same gene is found in more than two forms, what we can say the multiple alleles, A plus A1 plus A2 plus A3, then also that is equal to 100. That means the gene pool of A is equal to 1. The gene pool of A is equal to 100%. That's why I mentioned here. It is a sum total of all different alleles in actually normally present in a sexually reproducing. So we are talking about only we can calculate the gene or genotype frequencies only for sexually reproducing population, not for asexually reproducing population. Because in most of the asexually reproducing population, we have only one type of individuals, namely homozygous dominant or homozygous recessive. So from that what we cannot calculate. We cannot calculate, that is the gene frequencies or genotype frequencies. So the sum total of different alleles present in a sexually reproducing population in a given period or in a given generation is called gene pool. Now what do you mean by allelic frequency and gene frequency? So the measurement of the proportion of the allele relative to all the alleles present at that particular locus. Simply we can say the percentage of an allele of a genotype. Suppose let us take the genotype A. So this is a heterozygous genotype. Or we can say, for example, this is a homozygous dominant genotype. Or we can say that is homozygous recessive genotype. Now what is the percentage of A, capital A? Where you take the sum total of A plus A is equal to 1. So that is why the measurement of the proportion of the allele. So what is the proportion of A? The sum total of just the genotype A and A. What is the percentage of an allele in the given genotype? That is why I mentioned the percentage of alleles of a genotype in a population. So if you are taking two alleles, out of these two alleles, what is the percentage of dominant gene? Then what is the percentage of recessive gene? So measurement of the proportion. What is the proportion of A, the dominant A, or what is the proportion of recessive A in a gene? So measurement of the proportion of the allele relative to the alleles at that locus. So now if we are taking a gene, so take an example, locus is a point where a particular gene is located. So we are taking locus 1 where you have the gene A is located. We are comparing just calculating the proportion of capital A from actually the total of A and A located at that locus 1. This is what is called allelic frequency or gene frequency. So measurement of the proportion of the allele relative to all the alleles at a locus. So at a locus we may have capital A and small a, but in the case of multiple alleles in different organisms we have together A, small a, A1, A2, A3. That's why given all alleles. So the proportion of the allele relate to all alleles at that locus in a population. Simply we can say the percentage of an allele of a genotype. The percentage of an allele of a genotype in a population is called what is known as gene frequency or allelic frequency. So to calculate the allelic frequency or gene frequency, a mathematical model was developed by these two people, G.H. Hardy of UK and then W. Wimber of Germany, just in 1908 to explain the genetic equation. They have developed a model, what is called actually by means of algebraic equations in 1908 to explain the genetic equilibrium. Now in a population, say I mentioned already in a stable population. We are saying in a stable population, that means there is no change in allelic frequency. It remains constant. The total alleles in a sexually reproducing population remains constant. That is why it is called a stable population. We are taking a gene. The gene has two alleles. We are taking a gene, for example, gene A, I am using the word orally A. So for a gene with the two alleles, one is what is called a dominant allele, A. Another one, small a recessive allele. So if you have two alleles for that gene, there are three possible genotypes in that population. One homozygous dominant, another one heterozygous dominant, the third one homozygous recessive. Taking one gene, that gene has two alleles, one is dominant allele, another one a recessive allele. We are using the letters here A, one for capital A, another for small a. So if you have two alleles in that population, there are three possible genotypes. One homozygous dominant, another one heterozygous dominant, another one homozygous recessive. Now let's consider if the frequency of occurrence of A allele, dominant A allele, is P. We are using the word small letter p. So this is the frequency of dominant allele. and that of the frequency of recessive gene is Q. Then the frequency of occurrence of these three genotypes, namely homozygous dominant, heterozygous dominant, and homozygous recessive, can be expressed by the equation p square plus 2pq plus q square is equal to 1. Or you know that the binomial this is the binomial expansion of p plus q whole square is equal to 1. So we are having two alleles for a gene, and the dominant allele we are considering, that is called as actually the frequency of dominant allele is P, and the frequency of recessive allele is Q. Then you have the three possible genotypes, and these three possible genotype frequencies can be expressed. So this is actually the genotypic frequency. So once you are having actually the frequency of A and A, capital A and small a, and from which we can also calculate actually the frequency of the genotypes, but possibly we will calculate the frequency of just what is called P or Q only from the equation, just the binomial expansion of P plus Q whole square is equal to 1, that is P square plus 2P is equal to Q square. So, and this is the one, and from this equation only we can calculate the frequency of P as well as the frequency of Q. So it has its own major application, just only for calculating the dominant gene frequency, that is P of A, or just the recessive gene frequency, that is Q of A. That is its major application. So only when you know the genotype frequencies, then only you can calculate the gene frequencies. Now recall, so what is actually this one, P square plus 2PP is equal to Q square. Recall the monohybrid cross. So in the case of monohybrid cross, see if F2, we are receiving the ratio 3:1. This is the phenotypic ratio. This is the phenotypic ratio. Suppose we are taking the genotypic ratio, recall this one, the cross between tall versus dwarf. So we have received 1 homozygous tall, 2 heterozygous tall, and 1 homozygous recessive. This is what is called the genotypic ratio. So this is equal to T square, then 2T, and then T square. And this one is equal to, you see that 1P square, then 2PQ, then Q square. So this one represents what is called the dominant genotype frequency. So we are taking two dominant genes. And this one is nothing but dominant heterozygous genotype frequency. And this one homozygous recessive genotype frequency. That is why we have P square plus 2PQ is equal to Q square is equal to 1. So in a population, if we are counting the total number of genotypes, so 1 plus 2 plus 1 is equal to 1, the total number of individuals. That is what is called the genetic equilibrium. That is why we have the binomial expansion, just P plus Q whole square is equal to these three things. Nothing but dominant genotype frequency, then dominant heterozygous genotype frequency, and recessive homozygous genotype frequency. I will show it. Now, in mathematical terms, suppose you are taking the gene frequency. So, P plus Q is equal to 1. This is the genetic equilibrium for gene frequency. And this is the genetic equilibrium for actually the genotype frequency. So, the genetic equilibrium for genotype frequency is equal to 1. That is P square plus 2P is equal to Q is equal to 1. And similarly, for gene frequency, the genetic equilibrium is equal to 1, that is P plus Q is equal to 1. This is the dominant gene frequency and this is the recessive gene frequency. We can calculate the dominant gene and recessive gene frequency only from the genotype frequencies. And here it is actually the illustration and nothing but actually the expansion for each one. So P is equal to dominant allelic frequency, dominant gene frequency. Q is equal to recessive allelic frequency or recessive gene frequency. Then P square, dominant homozygous genotype frequency. Recall the genotypic ratio, what I mentioned earlier, that is T square. And then 2PQ, dominant heterozygous genotype frequency. And Q square, recessive genotype frequency. So if you know the values of, for example, any one of these three, either P square or 2PQ or Q square, we can calculate just P as well as Q. So, it is possible to calculate the gene frequencies only a person knows the genotype frequencies. Now we have certain problems also just to explain this concept. Now problem 1. So I am taking actually a population. In that population the total number is 100. I am taking homozygous dominant, homozygous dominance, just total number 57. Homozygous dominance 57. And heterozygous dominance actually just 38. And recessive just 100. Sorry, recessive 1. So if you are adding all these things, homozygous dominant, heterozygous dominant, and then homozygous recessive, you will get 100. How can you calculate actually a dominant genotype frequency? We have the form. Then we can calculate the dominant allelic frequency, that is P of A, that is dominant allele is equal to nothing but dominant gene frequency. So we can calculate the dominant allelic frequency, nothing but the dominant allele A, that is actually we are using the letter P. So there is a formula for that one. 2 into number of dominant homozygous plus number of heterozygous divided by 2 into total number of individuals. And similarly, if you want to calculate the recessive genotype frequency or recessive gene frequency, there is another formula. So only this unit changes. So if it is a dominant genotype frequency, if you want to calculate the dominant gene frequency, 2 into number of dominant homozygous plus number of heterozygous and then 2 into number of individuals in the population. If it is actually, if you want to calculate the recessive gene frequency, you have to change this alone. 2 into number of recessive homozygous. Why we are taking 2? That means there are 2 genes. You see that one A. That's why we are taking. But here only one capital or one small. Now you see that one here, the total number 2 into 57 plus 38. Then I calculated here. I already got the solution for the problem also. 2 into 100. So you get the frequency of P 0.76. That is nothing but dominant allelic frequency. To know the value of this dominant allelic frequency, that is P. So P is equal to 0.76. So the total allelic frequency or the gene pool. So P plus Q is equal to, you know that 1. If you know the value of P, then you can calculate Q, that is 1 minus P. That is equivalent to 0.24. So we'll get it in the next slide. The same one. So recessive allelic frequency, that is Q of A is equal to 1 minus P. So that is 1 minus 0.76, you get 0.24. Whether it is correct or not, absolute or not, we can actually verify it. How? By using the same formula, just the contents are different. So here 2 into number of recessive individuals plus number of heterozygous. So I am taking only just this one instead of dominant individuals. So here you see we are getting 2 into 5 plus 38, 2 into 100, so you get that 0.24. So here we got the answer 0.24. So the problem is very fine. So 0.76 the dominant allelic frequency plus 0.24 together forms 1. That is called genetic equilibrium. So the ratio of the dominant and recessive allelic frequencies always remains constant. That is what is called equilibrium of allelic frequency. We can say also genetic equilibrium. So I will take another problem also. I worked it out. Now in the population, the total number of individuals 800. Out of this 128 individuals are homozygous dominant. Simply just ask, calculate the recessive and dominant gene frequency. Calculate the dominant and recessive gene frequency. This is another model of the problem. I worked out 3 problems for 3 models. Now the dominant genotype frequency. So from this value of 128, because it is given as the number of homozygous dominant, we can calculate P square nothing but dominant genotype frequency. So how can we calculate? So you can calculate by taking the total number of dominant homozygous divided by the total number of individuals. That is 120 by 800, we will get 0.16. This is what is called the dominant genotype frequency, not gene frequency. So P square is equal to 0.16. From that one we can calculate the dominant genotype frequency named with P. So therefore dominant allelic frequency P is equal to root of 0.16 then 0.4. So now we got the answer 1. That is what is called the dominant gene frequency. So from this one we can calculate the recessive gene frequency. that is 1 minus 0.4, you will get the recessive gene frequency of 0.6. So that is why we have to know the value of any one of these two, either dominant gene frequency or recessive gene frequency. Or we have to know the number of homozygous dominant, number of heterozygous dominant, number of homozygous recessive individuals in a population. Then only you can calculate. It is not simply just by using the formula P plus Q is equal to 1, it is not possible. So recessive allele frequency Q is equal to 1 minus P. So we are getting the answer 0.6. Now I am taking another problem. Problem number 3. In a population, the homozygous dominant genotype frequency, that is what is called P square, is equal to 0.6, sorry 0.36. Calculate the heterozygous genotype frequency, that is 2p. They are asking 2p. Here it is given P square. From this value, you have to calculate what is called the heterozygous genotype frequency. So, for this one, first we have to calculate the dominant gene frequency, then recessive gene frequency, then only you can get the value of 2pq. Now, homozygous genotype frequency, here it is given 0.36. From this one, we can calculate what is called the dominant gene frequency, that is p, that is equal to root of 0.36, we get 0.6. Now we calculated p. And from this value, we can calculate what is called q. So 1 minus p is equal to, just will get the value 0.4. This is q. And from these two values, 0.6. See that one 0.6 and 0.4. So you know the formula for heterozygous genotype frequency, it is 2pq. So 2 into 0.6 dominant allelic frequency, 0.4 that is recessive allelic frequency. One can calculate what is called the heterozygous genotype frequency. So we can just actually calculate it by using the same formula for different models. Okay, so these are all some of the problems, 3 models, just I worked it out for 3 different things. But actually we are clarifying everything for the genetic equilibrium and also Hardy-Weinberg principle. Now what is the importance of this one? What is the advantage? Now actually it is acting as a tool. This principle is acting as a tool to the geneticist when evolution is occurring. So if you want to calculate when evolution is occurring, you have to go through the Hardy-Weinberg principle. One. For example, when frequency is measured, we are calculating the frequency. P plus Q is equal to 1. If it differs from the expected value, that is P plus Q is equal to 1. If you are not getting this value, P plus Q is equal to 1. So the genetic equilibrium is disturbed. If you are not getting the expected value, then the difference will give the idea of the extent of evolutionary process actually, how far the evolution occurred. So when frequency measured differs from the expected values, then the difference of the direction normally indicates the extent, the duration of the actually the percentage of evolutionary stage. This is number 2, the important. And similarly, when actually if there is any disturbances in genetic equilibrium, when the genetic equilibrium is disturbed, then what will happen? Change in the frequency of alleles. Where? In a population. Then it would actually be interpreted as resulting in evolution. So if you are not getting P plus is equal to 1, if there is a change in allelic frequency of either P or Q, already we calculated P is equal to 60%, Q is equal to 40%. But all of a sudden what will happen? P is equal to 50%, Q is also equal to 50%. That means we have obtained an unexpected value. So it would then actually interpret it as something happened, some evolutionary change occurred. That is actually. So anyway, if we are considering Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, it is a departure for evolution. So if you have 60-40, then original value for P and Q is equal to 1. So it is a constant 1, nothing would happen. So we already know that 1, this is the value for that is P and Q. So all of a sudden after some time when you measure the frequency, here P is equal to 50 and Q is equal to just 50. That means some change occurred from the original value. Then it would be interpreted as something happened in evolution. So it is a product. So anyway, if there is any change from this value from Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, then we can say it is a departure from evolution. It is a departure from Actually, the evolution is nothing but a departure from order impact equilibrium. That is, the evolution already occurred from the starting point of this genetic equilibrium if there is any change in allelic or genotype frequencies. That is why Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium is considered as a departure for actually evolution. Or we can say either evolution is a departure from Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. Now, what are the factors responsible or affecting Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium? So, I mentioned evolution is a departure from Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium if there is any allelic change. Then, what are the factors responsible for causing such allelic changes? Number 1, gene flow or gene migration. Number 2, the genetic drift. Number 3, genetic recombination. Number 4, mutation. And finally, natural selection. Here we are considering natural selection, that is a population genetics oriented process, not counting the number of individuals as Darwin did. We are counting only the number of genes. So here natural selection is based on genetical, population genetical oriented actually process. So these are the 5 factors responsible for changing the allelic frequency. And if there is any change in allelic frequency, it will be resulted in what is called evolutionary process. That's why I mentioned. Evolution is a departure from Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. Until P plus Q is equal to 1, there is no evolution. If there is any change in that one, that is either in P or Q, though we have 1, there is no change in genetic equilibrium, but it is being disturbed. So 50-60-40 or 50-50 like that, just actually the ratio between the dominant and recessive gene frequencies have changed. Then it will be normally resulted in evolution. So these are the main factors responsible for actually affecting the equilibrium, the genetic equilibrium of Hardy-Weinberg. Now, so I mentioned already, variation occurs due to mutation, or variation occurs due to recombination normal process, or the gene flow or genetic drift. So if you have these factors normally there in a population, then you have change in gene frequencies and also allelic frequencies, where in future generation, because change occurs in the present generation, that is being passed on to the next generation. So because of such variations in mutations or variation in recombination or because of gene flow or because of what's the genetic drift, there is a change in allelic frequency that will be resulted in the next generation or future generation. Now, once again we will go in a different manner. What are the factors responsible for changes in allelic frequencies and genotype frequencies? Those factors. And here we have to study those factors what we mentioned once again, separate. First factor, the natural selection. It is one of the factors affecting what is called the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium or the genotype and gene frequencies. So I mentioned all natural selection we are considering only based on population genetics oriented process. There is one change in the allelic frequency by selecting the right type of individuals, those have adaptive value, and eliminate those individuals which do not have the adaptive value. Now, natural selection can lead to 3 types of selection. 1, stabilization selection. Number 2, directional selection. And number 3, disruptive selection. Or we can say there are 3 different types of selection responsible for changing the allelic frequency. Now I will take the first one, stabilization selection. What is it? So I will show the picture. Now this is a picture showing stabilizing selection. Now this is the original population. We are taking actually the x-axis, the phenotypic distribution or the phenotypic character, and here the frequency of individuals, the number of individuals. Okay, so suppose let's take the size of the body. We have 3 different types. We have 3 different types of individuals. Now I am taking actually the phenotype fur color here. This is the original population. So here I represented 5 different types of actually rats showing the fur color. Now this is the light shaded one. This is what is called the dark shaded. So these are all found at the extremities. Now this is the mean value. We have somewhat intermediate fur color. Now I am taking what is called the stabilizing selection. Now this is the original population, the dotted. So it is a type of selection actually eliminating phenotypically extreme individuals in the phenotypic distribution. That means The individuals at the extremities are eliminated and preserving those individuals in the mean value. That is, the rat with the medium fur color is maintained. That is, the pressure is actually against the extremes, eliminating, for example, the individuals, the light fur color, and also dark. So, as it is operating normally from the periphery towards the center, this type of selection is also called what is known as centripetal selection. I'll show another picture. Here you see that one very easy. Now, this is the main value character. These two are the extremities. So normally the selection pressure is against the extremities. Individuals at the end of the phenotypic distribution, that we can say extreme individuals, phenotypically extreme individuals, which are found at the end of the phenotypic distribution are eliminated. And this type of selection preserving those individuals which are found in the mean value. See that on the count is in a peak. These two individuals are eliminated. Suppose you are taking, for example, simple one, the size of the body. Small size, or let us take, for example, the neck in a giraffe, the lengthening of neck. So this is short necked one, that is long necked one, and this is a medium one. So the medium necked individuals are favored and others two are eliminated. As it is operating from the periphery towards the center, this type of selection is also called actually centripetal selection. But it doesn't cause actually much evolutionary change, but preserving those individuals actually in the mean value. So actually, we can simply, the individual, the mean value characters are actually maintained. The mean value characters are maintained. So it favors the existence of, so more mean value individuals are favored. More mean value individuals are favored. Now you see that one, the pressure is normally, the selection is against extreme individuals. So more individuals acquire mean character value. That means though actually the individuals at the two extremities are eliminated, they are not completely wiped out. So more individuals acquire mean character value. That is why it's called stabilization selection, because it tends to maintain the stability in the mean character value. That is why actually the curve is going up in the form of a peak. See that one? This is the original population, and these two are eliminated, and now the mean value character is normally increasing. So the selection pressure is against the extremities. That is why we can have more number of individuals in mean value. That is why I mentioned more mean value character. More individuals acquire mean value character. Then the second type of selection is what's called direction selection. Now this is the original population. This one the dot. So it normally works actually at one extreme. It constantly eliminating or removing the individuals at one end of the phenotypic distribution. At one end of the phenotypic distribution. So that is why what will happen at another end, the other type of individual is formed. Even the mean value is also shifted towards the other end, either towards that end or this end. Suppose you are taking longer necked ones, now the medium necked ones also shifted towards the longer necked ones. Or if you have short necked ones, it is being shifted towards the directions. Anyway, it is selection pressure is against one extreme, not at both extremes. So now in this case, we have more individuals acquire value other than the mean value. Either towards this direction, the number of individuals more, or towards this direction, according to the adaptive value, the number of individuals are increasing. So more individuals acquire value other than the mean value character. So I mentioned already, it works by constantly removing individuals from one end of the phenotypic distribution. So that is why you see that when the mean value shows a shifted towards another direction, either towards this direction or towards this direction. I'll show another time. See that one, direction selection. Here you see that one, it is favored towards this direction. The rats with the dot fur color are favored. The rat with medium color are also shifting towards what is called the another extreme. It is operating towards one direction. So eliminates the individuals at another extreme. So here the selection pressure is only at one end, not at both ends. But here you see that when the selection pressure is at both ends. So this is what is happening. So another picture, just giving. So this is the direction selection. See, these are all the individuals which which are normally favored. The yellow color individuals are favored. Now here it is operating towards this direction. Now these individuals are eliminated. You have more and more number of individuals towards one end. And also the mean value, you see that what is being shifted towards the direction. So at one end we have more number of individuals, at another end the number of individuals is decreased. So this is what is called direction selection, as it is actually happens towards one direction. Now the third type of selection, disruptive selection. It is operating from the center towards the periphery, because it is operating on what is called the mean value character. So it is a rare form selection, but it is a most important one, because it is the one which brings about evolutionary change. Even this one can split a population into two or more subpopulations, what we call this one population species or species populations. So, and normally it favors the existence of more than one phenotype. The existence of more than one phenotype in a population is called polymorphism. It allows not only one character, but allows the existence of more than one character. That phenomenon is called polymorphism. So when this selection pressure just favors the existence of more than one phenotype in a population, then that phenomenon is called polymorphism. And it can split the population into two subpopulations. What we call this one species population. So what is happening here? So more individuals acquire peripheral characters at both ends. Peripheral characters just at both ends of the mean or distribution curve. So here actually more individuals acquire peripheral characters at both ends of what is called distribution curve. I'll show the picture quickly. Now this is the one. So this is actually the selection which is against the mean value. So it is operating on the center so that we can get two different populations. This is the one after selection. So this is the original population is being split into two subpopulations. So this is another picture. Now you see that one here, the light fur color and the dark fur color individuals are actually selected because the entire population is split into two subpopulations. Now you see that one is operating from the center towards the periphery, so that we are getting two subpopulations or two population species or species populations. As it is operating from the periphery, from the center towards the periphery, it is called centrifugal selection. So more individuals in the mean value. So more individuals actually other than the mean value. So here more individuals actually at the periphery, resulting in the formation of two or more species. That is called the polymorphic population. So these are all some of the factors related to the natural selection. The one which is normally controlling or affecting what is called the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. We will see other characters in the next one. What are the factors affecting Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium in the next one. So as the time has been concluded, I am concluding my part also. So you are expected to just ask any questions or pose questions. We are ready to answer for it. Thank you. Class is complete.